that were left unsaid, for all the times I found promises dead. I had nightmares along the way, I made prayers in vain. I've waited so long to catch my breath. I'm awake, I'm alive. You made me who I am now. Never mind, I survived. Time after time. Through the pain I feel, through the hate in me, it goes on and on again. And try to ride while you're alive and scream, never mind. So many fights for nothing at all, so many problems never solved, yeah. I saw people with fear in their eyes, into a world falling apart. I've waited so long to catch my breath. I'm awake, I'm alive. You made me who I am now. Never mind, I survived. Time after time. Through the pain I feel, through the hate in me, it goes on and on again. And try to ride while you're alive and scream, never mind. I've waited so long to catch my breath. I've waited so long to catch my breath. To catch my enjoy the ride while you're alive and scream, never mind. I'm awake, I'm alive. It made me who I am now. Never mind, I survived. Time after time. Through the pain I feel, through the hate in me, it goes on and on again. And try to ride while you're alive and scream, never mind.
Hello, my pack, my tribe. Welcome to Howling After Dark. So, I knew I wanted to do a show tonight. I didn't know what it was going to be about. And that happens sometimes. But okay, so let me provide some background here. I am all by myself. Have been for last couple nights. It's just been me and the dogs here. And thank God for these pups, because I'd go crazy. But it's been, just me and the pups here, and things have started to happen. Now, there's nothing overt, right? Like it's not like, boo, I'm here. It's more subtle than that. It's like, give you an example. Last night, I was here, I was making dinner, and I heard a voice that sounded just like Nora. right? And those that have been listening for a while have probably heard Nora speak a time or two, because she likes to pipe in sometimes when I'm doing my show if it's a topic that interests her, right? And she does have a like a sweet speaking voice, so it's very recognizable. And it sounded like it was her, but like she was outside somewhere, like she was approaching the trailer, but not quite here yet. Now, tonight, a couple things happened in quick succession. So, nobody called me and said that, you know, I'm not coming home tonight or, anything like that. It just got late enough that like, okay, well, yada, 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 probably staying in town at a friend's house or whatever. No big deal. And sorry, it's starting to get really windy, and there's actually a thunderstorm rolling in, so this is perfect. If you have not heard me talk about it before, atmospheric changes like weather can actually bring about activity. So anyways, tonight I decided that I was going to have a little fire in my wood burning stove right outside the door. And that just, chill out, whatever. And for most of it, I'm looking at the farm. I'm looking off to the north where the storm is coming from, and I can see little flashes of lightning off in the distance, and it just like creates this amazing sight, between the fire and the storm coming in and all that, and pretty freaking awesome. And then as when I do a fire out here, because there's plenty of dry material out here, so you can't really just start a fire and then walk away and do something. Like, you got to be on top of the fire, right? So I was sitting there pretty much the whole time, and I came in for like a minute maybe to get some coffee or something like that, and then came back out, and so I sit there until the fire dies down, and it's just embers, right? Because once it's embers, I can cover the stove and it won't like catch anything. So anyways, I'm sitting there watching the fire start to die down, and there's barely any flame left. And I get the distinct feeling that somebody's watching me. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see like a darting figure, and it wasn't a shadow. It wasn't like black. It was like pretty light, like gray or white. And it was just out of the corner of my eye, but I know I saw it, right? I've learned to trust these things over the years. And I'm like, okay, well, the fire's dying down anyways, and it's kind of getting cold. So I come inside, and while I'm sitting here, thinking about, doing a podcast tonight, and getting ready to record and all that stuff, I hear a meow. Now, let me preface this by telling you a story. So, we've been here in New Mexico for 3 years now. Well, it'll be 3 years this year. So almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in September that we've been here. And probably had been here maybe like 4 or 5 months, something like that. And a buddy of ours gave us this trailer that we live in. It was actually, an abandoned trailer, and he got his hands on it somehow, and he gave it to us. So, anyways, neither here nor there, but we had been in this trailer for maybe a month or two, and one day, one of our cats got out and disappeared. Never saw it again. Now, it wasn't too surprising because this particular cat loved to roam around. Like, it would disappear for hours sometimes and then come back. And this wasn't like, I mean, it was my cat, but it didn't start out that way. It was actually my daughter's cat, but she got married and moved to Australia, and I ended up with her. So, this cat one night went out and just never came back. That wasn't too surprising, to be honest. And well, I miss the cat, and I feel the things that you're supposed to feel if you're a normal human being, which I did. It was crushing, But then maybe like 2 weeks later, so not even that long, my other cat went out. And here's the thing about this cat. Her name was Bobby, because she looked like a little bobcat. She's actually part Maine Coon. And she would go out, but she would not venture far at all. She would stay right around the trailer because she did not like to venture far. What the hell? Oh, come on. Not now. Sorry. Phone is acting up. Hold on a second. That's good. So, anyways, Bobby would not venture very far from the trailer at all. In fact, she spent most of her time under the trailer, if she was outside at all, which really the only time she went outside is when she wanted to go out and go potty, And she'd sit there at the door and meow and walk back in. But this night, she disappeared. Now, and we never saw her again. Never saw any trace of her at all. You would think if like a predator would have gotten a hold of her, that there would have been, blood trail or something. There was nothing at all. She just vanished, which was not like her at all. And the only thing I could think is she got chased off by a coyote, and the coyotes got her somewhere. And because we never saw her again. So ever since then, I've been really super careful with the dogs because I don't want the same thing happening to them. And so I'll make sure that I'm like up and ready to open the door the second I hear them. And they don't go far after dark either. Like, they stay right around the trailer. And so the meow I heard, I could swear was Bobby. Because she had kind of a very distinctive meow. And it sounded just like her. And, you know, I went and I looked, and there's nothing there. And so I think that they're keeping me company because they know I'm here by myself. Is what I think, honestly. Like, I don't think it's negative at all. It doesn't feel negative in any way. But it is a bit it's not scary. It's more like what's the word I'm looking for? Like off-putting, I guess, because I'm not used to it. Now, because I mean, me and Nora have lived together for like, like 15, 16 years, something like that. And before that, I lived with other people. So it's been a really long time since I've been by myself for like any like real length of time. And oh, now it's starting to rain, which you might hear actually here in a little bit. So I don't know if the microphone's picking that up, but you can actually hear the raindrops hitting the roof because it's an aluminum roof. Anyways, so yeah, I thought I would report on that because it's getting kind of interesting over here, and it's long been a theory that atmospheric changes like rain and lightning and stuff can actually charge up an environment to make it more active. So I'm fully expecting some shit to go down tonight. Nice flash. Yeah, this storm's coming right at me. I am just hoping it's not going to be another flood. We actually had a flood about a week ago. Had really heavy rain, and I kept looking outside to make sure it wasn't flooding, because where we're at is actually in the middle of an old floodplain. But those that have listened for a while probably know that. So I'm going to get into a whole lot of shit apparently, because I have to give this backstory. So before we came here to New Mexico, we lived in Akron, Ohio, in a 100-year-old house. It was actually built in 1919, just after the First World War. gorgeous house, but it was falling apart. And to make matters worse, right around the time of COVID, the company, because we were renting to own it, the company that owned it sold it to another company because I guess they were getting sued a bunch of times by different people. And this other company basically stole it from us, and we got evicted. And right about then, I was already talking about coming out to New Mexico because I've always loved New Mexico. I've been fascinated with it since childhood, and the opportunity came up, and I got a bit of land out here that I'm renting. It's a what they call a lease option. It's essentially like renting to own the land, right? And it's nice. It's an acre of land. I get to wake up every day and see the mountains in the distance, and it feels like home, and it's a beautiful thing. But it's not without its issues, right? Like I said, we're in an old floodplain. It hasn't flooded here very often, and this last flood evidently wasn't that big, but basically what had happened is it was raining really hard, and I'd stayed up for a while, but I finally just freaking passed out. And when I woke up the next day, some of the things that were in my basically my front yard were pushed down into other lots of land. Now, it wasn't that big, and I could tell by like the wear pattern from the water that basically what had happened is there's this overturned bus that sits right behind the trailer. And it was here before we were. So I basically put my garage tent inside of it on one side, and every once in a while I'll climb up there and just take a look around because I can see for miles on top of this thing, and stuff like that. So we haven't gone out of our way to get rid of it or anything. And it's a good thing, because when this flood happened, evidently what happened is the floodwaters hit the bus and then went around the bus, and when it went around the bus, it also went around us. So we didn't flood at all, but it flooded around us, which is kind of amazing. Because, had I moved this trailer like an inch or foot, whatever, either way, we would have been in floodwaters that night and probably pushed halfway into like somebody else's lot. Well, not that anybody else owns it, but you get my point. So, well, there's a flash. So yeah, this storm is kind of coming towards us. It seems like it's like we're just getting the edge of it, because I can still see the moon out the window. But yeah, so it's looking to be an interesting night for sure. And it started with that meow and hearing Nora's voice and stuff. Like, it's already getting active. And I just saw something outside my window. But once again, I'm not feeling anything negative from it, because I'm not trying to get anybody to believe anything, right? Whatever you believe is whatever you believe, or don't believe, whatever the case. If you're an atheist or whatever, I don't judge. That's the primary dogma, I guess you could call it, in my life is I don't judge. Whatever you are is whatever you are. But if you're in a cult, I'm going to laugh at you. And probably use you for material. Because I also do stand-up comedy. Anyways. But, basically I don't judge, And I just expect the same in return. That's all. So, but according to my spiritual beliefs, basically what I did is I put up, for lack of a better term, I bless the land that I'm on. So nothing negative comes here. Has never once since we've been here come here. Just doesn't happen. And I'm not saying that to like toot my own horn or make myself seem like, the Billy Badass of the paranormal world, even though in some ways I guess I kind of am. But I'm not saying that. Right? So just the point is like nothing negative comes here. And so whenever I see things, I know they're not negative, because if they intended me any harm, they wouldn't be here. Simple as that. So I know it's nothing like that, but people can think whatever they want. I know there's skeptics out there. I doubt any of them listen to my show. But in case they do, all I want to say is, your belief is your belief. My belief is my belief. Have some respect. You don't have to drink the proverbial Kool-Aid on it. But, you don't have to be an asshole either. So there's that. See, I can't tell if this storm is just edging past us, or if it's just the calm before the storm. Because the wind even sounds like it's letting up, and it was hitting pretty hard for a minute. We have been getting some pretty decent storms, though, which in a way we need, because New Mexico was in a drought for, over a year. So, and the reason I know that is because they have these things here that I don't think you would have even heard of, back east in Ohio or in other places like that. I think it's pretty much only in the Southwest that you hear of this, but they're called bulk fill stations. And basically what that is if you have like those big IBC containers, like those big square white containers for water that hold like 300 gallons or whatever, if you have those, you can take those to a bulk fill station and fill them up and have water for basically the month, right? Because a lot of people out here that are far enough out of town that they're not getting city water are not on well water either, because the water table is too far down, they can't drill to it. And so they have these bulk fill stations all over the Southwest for this reason, right? And but the reason I know we were in a drought is because when we moved here, they would not allow us to pay for the bulk fill station, because it's something like $50 a year, and you get like I think 1,000 gallons or something like that, or 3,000, whatever the fucking thing is what you get, and you can fill those IVC tanks or whatever. And we weren't allowed to do it because they weren't giving any of those out. And the only reason they would do that is because of a drought. And we found out that it was a drought. It was like, it's actually one of the worst droughts they've seen in a little while. And I know a lot of people like back east and stuff that have never been here think that it's all desert and blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. The area we're in is actually called high plains or high desert, which is different than desert because there is actually water here, usually. Like I said, we're in a floodplain. Floodplain wouldn't exist if there wasn't water. So yeah, we don't have well water. We have to haul it from town, basically. We've got these they're like 5-gallon buckets that we fill. So not a huge deal, but is what it is. And the only other thing you can do is if you have like an RV or a trailer, you can go to like RV parks, rent a space for a night or whatever, and fill up your tanks, and then just come home the next day or whatever, and you can do it that way. But yeah, anyways, so we do need the rain, so there is that. But the night of that flood was actually pretty scary. I'm actually surprised I fell asleep, to be honest with you, because I've lived through a flood before, and it was a pretty bad one, actually. So I was a kid. I was probably like 10, 11, maybe, something like that. And we were living in this little duplex in Lakeside, California, right off of Las Cochas Road. And it had flooded, and it had flooded so bad that the water had come up into the house, like, and the way our house was, it was like 3 or 4 steps up to the door. So you're talking maybe like 2-3 feet up, and then it was just like maybe a couple inches into the house or something like that. But it was hitting powerful enough that my stepdad's rig, because he was a truck driver, his rig was actually getting pushed downstream that was parked in the front yard. So yeah, pretty scary stuff. And so yeah, floods are something I don't like. I'm not terrified of them, but like I just don't like them. Like if I got to live through a natural disaster, I would rather it not be a flood. Because it sucks. Because it's not even so much the flood itself, it's the fucking aftermath. Having to clean that shit up is not fun, let me tell you. People in New Orleans and stuff definitely know what I'm talking about because, they had to go through it. But, and far worse than I got it, by the way. because a lot of their shit was pretty much completely underwater. And from what I understand, a lot of that stuff still is. So, anywho, that's the report of what's going on so far. But before I call it for the night, I want to tell you this story. I've actually told it before, but I'm going to tell it again just for, anybody new that might be listening. So, when we first moved here, it wasn't raining so much, but it was very windy. Like there was a massive windstorm. And when I say massive, what I mean is, so it was before we got the trailer, we were living in these tents. I had a tent, and Nora had a tent, and she had the cats in her tent. Alright? And it was just me and Nacho in mine. And it was a brand new tent, basically. I mean, literally brand new. Had bought it in Indiana when we were stranded there for like 3-4 months. And great tent, had already been through a bunch of shit with us and everything. And I'm laying down, and the wind is so hard, it's actually bending the tent over. And then it ripped the rain fly off of the top of the tent, so that, I could see through this mesh on the top of the tent. And I'm looking up, and I can see these Phoenix lights. If you don't know what Phoenix lights, they're lights that are moving, that are in a triangle formation, right? And they're called Phoenix lights because there was a big case, big reporting of it seen in Phoenix, Arizona. So, anyway, see, there was 3 of them, and they started like, it was almost like they were dancing around each other, because they were like swirling around each other. I could see them plain as day, swirling around each other while this wind is going off. And I'm thinking, is there a connection there? And so I'm sitting there watching it, and every time it gets windy, I'm looking outside for this phenomenon. Well, because it's not just ghosts here, it's kind of everything. I've had experiences with skinwalkers too. Okay. I don't know if you heard that sound. It had me like perking up my ears for a second, but it's just my dog. Honey likes to sleep under my bed, and sometimes when she's up against the back wall under the bed, it sounds like it's coming from outside. So I thought somebody was outside, is what it sounded like, but it was just like her. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, like if you're all into the paranormal, you need to come to New Mexico at least once in your life, because this is the perfect place for it. It's literally got everything you want to, if you're into cryptids. It's got skinwalkers. Like up in the Gila Forest, there's a version of Bigfoot. There's all sorts of hauntings all over the place. There's the Pueblo ruins all over New Mexico. There's ghost towns like the town of Madrid. It's got literally everything. And it's all over the state, too. It's not just here. It's literally, like I hear, like, about these things that happen, like, hundreds of miles away from us that are in New Mexico, like up in like way down in this place called Deming. It's like a couple hundred miles south of us. I hear about stuff that happens there. I hear about stuff that happens up in Santa Fe, which is like 50 miles north of us. Things in Albuquerque, which is, just about 40 minutes drive west of here. Things in Tucumcari, which is a couple hours east of us. Kind of like all over the place. There's always stuff going on. So, if you're at all in the paranormal, you want to come here at least once. Because, like I said, it's got everything. It's so active here, I actually don't have to go to locations. All I've got to do is go out my front door. And the thing about that is that wasn't my intention when I moved here. Like, this is icing on the cake, really. Because the reason I wanted to come here... Okay, I'll share this story real quick, and then I'll say goodnight for tonight. So, years ago, I was moving around a lot. I couldn't stay in one place. I hadn't really found that, what you would call home. And it seems like every couple of years I was in another place. I was living with my sis DJ in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Then we went to Everett, Washington, just outside of Seattle. We went to Pittsburgh, and then I went back to San Diego for a while. And before all that, I lived in Idaho near Boise, and I basically lived all over the country. But never found home. And when I lived in Ohio felt like home for a little while. But ultimately it wasn't. And then I come here and it's like, holy shit, this is what I've been looking for. And it is home. So it's almost like the ghosts and the UFOs and everything else. It's almost like they welcomed me here. It's kind of what it feels like. But in any case, that's about all the time I have for tonight. My pack, my tribe, I want to thank you for tuning in. Until next time, peace out.
We're gonna ride while you're alive and say nevermore. said. For all the times I've done promises that